I need you. You listen as I pray. You leave the 99 for me. You paint the sky with promises of your grace. So I will find my way to you. Now I can see clearly, my God, you for me. You won't let go. Your love won't let me down. And I know it's true. Yeah, I know that your love is all around. I believe in you, holding on to you, holding on, and I know you will never fail. I want all of you, you never change. Your love won't let me down. Love won't let me. Holding on, and I know you will never fail. I want all of you, you'll never change. Your love won't let me down. Love won't let me.
People come together, strangers, neighbors, our blood is one. Children of generations, of every nation, of kingdom come. So don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where our help comes from. Come on, with all we've got, we sing. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His blood. Oh, we sing. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, His kingdom come. So don't let your heart trouble, or hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where our help comes from.
Hey guys! I hope you're excited. Happy almost Mother's Day. Okay, technically in 5 hours. 5 hours, it will be Mother's Day. I hope that's enough time for those of you last minute people. I don't know. Is anyone that last minute? You haven't bought a present yet? My mom is probably watching, so I shouldn't tell her this, but I haven't bought her present because I knew she was probably going to come up and see me. So I'm sorry, Mom, but I love you, and I've got something in the mail for you. Good, Danny and Ellen are ready. I see the Cronins and Haley and the Bells and Megan and Amy, hopefully, and the girls, Lisa and her kiddos, and Luce and her daughter. We're so excited you guys are here. This is going to be a lot of fun. We are actually going to start with some trivia. I thought that would be really fun to just do some Mother's Day trivia, but it's on your honor system, so I need you guys to not cheat, okay? So nobody should be looking it up and Googling the answers to these. And some of these are numbers, so I'll kind of give it to you if you get really close. Does that sound good? So how about this? How about you answer what you think it is, but you only get one answer, and I'm going to take your first answer. And you have to answer before I tell the answer. You have to comment before I say the answer. There we go. And whoever gets the most right. How about that? Whoever gets the most out of all the questions I ask. So, you guys ready? Let's start with this. I thought it would be fun, and then we'll get into painting. Okay, question number 1. When is Mother's Day? Now, I'm not talking about 2020. Obviously, it's tomorrow. But in general, every year, when is Mother's Day? That's the question. When is Mother's Day? So if you think you know it, I'll give you a hint. It is not Christmas. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, when is Mother's Day? You only get one chance to answer. All right. Question number 2. This is one I did not know. Who is credited with starting Mother's Day? The first Mother's Day celebration, who is credited with starting it? Okay, you don't have to know the year, but it was a long time ago, 1868. Said she actually died before it became, I guess if you would say, like common, I guess, before it really became a big holiday. She actually died, so she didn't get to see how much everybody loved it. Okay, question number 3. What are the 3 most popular mom gifts? So you should have 3 words written down in your answer here. The 3 most popular mom gifts. Okay. I'm looking to see if anybody's written anything yet. Okay. 3 most popular mom gifts. Hey, John. My screen is black, just so you know. All right. Okay. All right, another question. What is the most common Mother's Day flower? The most common Mother's Day flower. All right, I see some of you are getting them. Good, good. Okay, we'll continue with the flower theme. What percentage of flower purchases, so if you were to ask a florist of all their purchases, what percentage of their purchases, of their flower sales, are made for Mother's Day? What percentage? This is a good one. All right. You have just 2 more questions. 2 more questions. Number 1, I don't even know, whatever this is. 5? This is the 6th question. How many countries celebrate Mother's Day? This one was interesting to me, so I just assumed everybody celebrates it. They don't. It is generally celebrated on different days in the month of May, and some of them are at even different times of the year. So the question is about how many countries celebrate Mother's Day. Awesome. I'm looking at some of your answers. You guys are doing good so far. Good, good, good. Okay. Last question. This one is going to be pretty tricky, so I'll give it to you if you're rather close. And I won't announce a winner until the end. I'm going to give it a little bit, and I've got to go through and tally them up. So maybe I'll announce the winner tomorrow at our service. How about that? So tomorrow morning At 9:45, we do our pre-service. It's super fun. We always give away gift cards, and so I'll announce the winner of this. All right, you ready? Drum roll. The last question. How many phone calls to mom, this is an estimate, about how many, because they don't know how many are actually to a mother, but about how many phone calls to mom are made on Mother's Day? About how many? This actually ended up being an AT&T survey, so I mean, we don't know how accurate it is, but about how many, okay? Good. All right. You guys are doing good. Good job answering. Love it. Very cool. Well, here's what you guys will need. I should have said this at the very beginning. You will need paper. Now, watercolor paper, if you got some from us, you'll notice it's very thick. That is on purpose because you actually have to get it wet. And so you want it to be thick. So you probably don't want to use normal paper. If you don't have watercolor paper, try to use some cardstock if you can. And if you don't have that, construction paper is better than printer paper. So anyway, hopefully you got your paper. Should have your paintbrush. Should have your paints, which these were already used. Yours will look a lot prettier than mine, but the kids and I already did this project. All right, you will also need some water. Normal water in a little bowl. I got myself 2 bowls because sometimes I like to mix a lot of colors and I get messy. So you are going to need a cup with water. If you have multiple people doing this, I would say almost each of you needs a cup because it's going to get pretty muddy pretty fast. So make sure you guys get some water. And then I am actually going to be using cotton balls. If you have these, that's awesome. If you just have some paper towels, that's fine as well. The reason is because a real watercolor artist, I should give a shout out to my mother. All right, I'm sorry. Let's pause while you guys are getting these materials together. So it should be the stuff I just said, the cotton balls, the water, the paper, brush. I can't think of anything else. But yeah, that should be everything that you will need. But as you guys are getting that together, I'll tell you about my mother. So my mother is actually an art teacher. So I grew up with my mom knowing not just how to do art, but she could teach every age. So she taught like grade school all the way up, and then she would do adult classes at night. So I was very blessed. Even as a very young girl, I got to go to my mom's evening classes with all the adults, and I got to learn how she was doing stuff. But I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty sure I forgot most of what she taught me. Sorry, Mom. So my mom helped the kids and I do this project. So we have a couple of examples. So John, if you want to show them my screen, this is essentially what it could look like. So these 2 were mine, and then this is really sad. They're going to be so mad that I don't remember. This one is Josie's. This one is Joel's. So they both did horizontal. Oh, sorry, I have to keep it down. They both did horizontal, and then Judah and Joy both did vertical. So you can do either way. But anyway, my mother, so sweet, she walked us through this. She called us one night with the kids, and we got it all out, and they probably finished in 10 minutes. So if your kids finish really fast, it's totally fine. No big deal. So anyway, so my kids finished really fast. There is a part at the end that it can actually be done like after it dries, maybe with maybe you can blow dry it. That's what we actually did. I'm not going to blow dry because it'll be really loud in your ears, but you can get a blow dryer as well if you want, and that can help you dry it off so you can do the last part, or you can do it after it dries tomorrow or whatever. So anyway, this is what we're looking at. So 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, almost 6 in a couple weeks, 7-year-old. So obviously it does not need to look perfect. So if you have little kids, it can look super abstract. And then if you guys got our packet, you can, I don't know what's best, but you can put your frame on them. So super cool. You guys can frame them up, put them on your wall, whatever you want to do. If your kids want to keep them in their room. That's how my kids are. I'm like, make something for me, and then they take it to their room. You also should have gotten popcorn in your bag, and let's just be honest, the best chocolate in the world. I don't like chocolate, but I will eat Dove. It's delicious. So anyway, that's all that you have, and if you guys are ready to get started, I will go back to what I was saying about my mom. She obviously knows how to watercolor, and so we were trying to figure out the best way to do this since you guys aren't professionals like her. You would normally want a really nice thick brush, and then you would get your whole paper wet with that nice thick brush, but I don't have one of those, or I didn't buy one for all of you. This is what you guys should have gotten in your packet, is a little one. If you have a big brush and you want to be all fancy, you can wet your paper like that, but I am going to be using cotton balls. Simple as that. I'm going to wet my paper that way. So it is called watercolor because you are using water with your color. So the first thing we want to do before we actually truly get started is to get all of your paint ready. So your paint right now should be dry. So for each kiddo, if you want to do this is kind of a fun project. You take your paintbrush, you dip it in, and you just let the little droplets touch the paint. So you don't actually want your paintbrush to touch the paint, or your paintbrush is going to get all messy, which is totally fine. But you can just take the water droplets and drop them in. And so that's going to allow our paint to start getting ready, because the paint needs to be wet in order for us to use it. So that is step number 1, but we are almost ready to get started. So if you have everything set in front of you, great, that's awesome, but while we're getting all our paint wet, you have a little bit of time to rush around, get all your stuff, get some cotton balls or some paper towels, get some water like I have. If you're really impatient, you could just pour the water, but I'm not that precise, and I would pour water everywhere. So, all right. I also said you could get a paper plate. I didn't say that yet. But a paper plate actually helps because you can mix your colors. I'm just going to mix mine up here because I'm the only one using my palette. But if a lot of you are using this, then you might want to get a paper plate just so that you guys have space to mix colors, if that makes sense. Okay, so now that all my colors have water and they're ready, now we're going to get our paper wet. So with your younger children, they are going to take a little bit, their project is going to be a lot more abstract than yours. So more water is actually okay, because the more water, the more the color kind of spreads, and the more it looks abstract, and it doesn't have to look perfect. So when you're getting it wet, I just am going to dip my cotton ball. You could dip your paper towel, and literally I am soaking this paper. I want it to look shiny. You want it to look shiny. You don't want your face to look shiny, but you want your paper to look shiny. Okay, so we're going to get it all shiny. You can kind of squeeze it out. You can get more on. I was going a little bit slow the other night when I did it with my mom, and I ended up adding more water in places where I was like, oh, I didn't have enough water here, and that's totally fine. We're amateurs here, so it does not have to be perfect. Mine's obviously bending, which is totally fine. It's just because it's nice and wet. So the most important thing when you are painting anything, really when you are drawing, artists will tell you to try to do a 2/3 rule, meaning you don't want to halvesies. So we don't want our grass to go up halfway and then our flowers to be halfway. We actually want the grass to only be maybe like 1/3 at the bottom, and the top can be all of our flowers. Cool? So we are going to kind of, for your kiddos, we're about to do flowers. Who's ready to do flowers? Okay, so with the flowers, we're going to do really fun colors, but first we might start with the color that you think is icky. So what is the color of the sun? Yellow. Yes, so we're going to start our flowers, but we're actually going to start with the lightest colors, and then we'll do the darker colors after that. So for you kiddos, are you ready? Where are the flowers? Should they be at the bottom in the grass, or should they be at the top? They should be at the top. So let's try to do 2/3. So you're going to take your paintbrush, kiddos. You ready? And we're going to take it into, let's start with our yellow paint. So you put it on there, and you're going to do circles in the paint, not on your paper yet, in the paint. Do circle, 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 and that helps you get lots of paint, lots and lots of paint on that paintbrush. So circle, 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 right? Okay, now that there's paint on my paintbrush, now I can do my flowers. So let's say I want a sunflower. All I might just do a big blob. If you're a kid, it might end up looking really messy, and that's okay. It doesn't matter how it looks. So maybe you want one there, but I would say that we can always color over yellow because it's kind of light. So you could do, maybe you could do circles one time. You could do something like this where it's more of a spiky flower. You can do just a giant blob of color. It really doesn't matter. In the end, you are going to use your pen to make them look like something. But it's okay if they don't look like anything because my kids pretty much just look like colored blobs, and that is okay. So get as many, maybe more spread out if you're an adult and you know what that means. The kids, if they put all the color in one space, my daughter, this is what she did first, and I was like, that's beautiful. It's totally fine. Anything looks great. Just tell them you love what they're doing. Look at it and be like, it's amazing, because all kids need some affirmation. Okay, so now that we've done some yellow, now we can go into a color that's slightly darker. What's slightly darker than yellow? Let's try orange. So it's kind of hard. I think all of these should be the same. The orange is actually on the far side, and the red is on the other side. So the orange is next to the yellow, and the red's next to the brown. Okay, so here it goes. So orange, what kind of orange flowers do you want? You could do anything. You could be like, we want to do like really crazy looking like fireworks. Awesome, then do that. So you can do something like that. You could do a tulip because tulips are really popular. They're probably almost gone. So you could do a U and then some little mountains on top, right? But just know that if your paper is super wet, it's going to end up kind of smearing a little, and that is okay. That's the whole point of making it all abstract and impressionistic, I think would be the correct term. Yes, maybe. Okay, so we've got some orange. Oh, I already washed out my brush. You can do whatever you want. You know, you don't even have to know what the flower looks like to just be like, I'm going to do this, and honestly, nobody's going to judge you. And don't judge yourself, because that's no fun. This is supposed to be fun. And if you judge yourself and you don't like your artwork, then it's not fun. So you can laugh at yourself, but don't make yourself feel bad for not being a great artist, because it's an art form. Haha, that was a good one. Okay, so now I'm going into the red, and you'll notice that I put my paintbrush off the camera. You may not have known what I was doing. I was getting it wet, and I was washing out all the yucky yellow and orange to get red. Now, technically, I could have just gone with some red without washing it out, because the orange-red would have been okay mixed. So let's see. What if we want a rose? Well, what would a rose look like? You could do a circle up top like this, and then a U, right? It may not look like a rose yet, but it will when we're done. Now, if you've noticed that you are starting to get dry, it is totally fine to re-wet it. However, I would try to wet it with clean water. I had another jar, whatever, a little thing of water that's clean. I wouldn't put the yucky water on, or it'll stain your whole paper like a yucky brown color. You don't want that. So if you need to re-wet it, you totally can. I had to re-wet my kids a couple times. It's no big deal. It's fine, whatever you end up doing. Okay, so I didn't do very many reds. I got one red in there, and let's see, what else could we do that's red? Actually, it doesn't even matter. You could just do, I haven't really done much down here, and that's probably good enough. Okay, so now we could do purple. My daughter loves this color purple. For me, I'd kind of like the purple to be a little toned down, not like bright purple. My dad went to K-State, so they're like purple, purple. But I think for flowers, maybe I'll take my red and I'll put some in the top of my palette here. I think that's what it's called. And then some purple. And see how it's kind of toned it down a little bit? It's more of a natural color. So anytime you mix colors, they end up looking a little more natural, but your kids don't need to do that. But if you want to start experimenting now at this point, feel free. So I've got mauve. I don't know what you would call that color. I'm really not an artist. My mom taught at a different school, so unfortunately, I never got to take art from her in school. I only did it like after school. So this was what I'm doing right now. I forget the name of it. This was my mom's favorite wildflower, and it was like tall purple no, it wasn't called that. I don't remember what it was called, but it was super tall and long and purple, and so we're gonna do something like that. And then maybe in the middle, I'll do something else. Maybe make it a little more purpley. Do another circle out here. I don't know. I'm really just ad-libbing it. You could do something that has like 3, pretty much anything you want to do. It doesn't even matter. I just used my blobs of color afterwards and just made it whatever I wanted. So, well, I am definitely running out of time here because my paper is getting dry. So I will try to go faster. All right. Now you can start going into darker colors. You can do your blue. You can do blue and purple. Whatever you want. I'm just going to mix this whole thing. Why not, right? Okay, so what blue flowers? Just look and see, where do I need space? And now at this point, you could color over your other colors if you want, because the darker you go, the easier it is. What if you do something like this that looks like grapes? Is that a flower? I have no idea, but we're going to pretend it could be lavender. Is that what lavender looks like? I don't know, but sure, great. You can make lavender. You can make something up here in the sky. I don't know. You can pretty much just do whatever you want to do at this point is pretty much your call. And if your kids are already bored, well, we're almost done. So they hopefully are not going to go crazy and dump over the paint water. It's really quiet in here. Anybody realize that clearly my kids are not doing this with me? There was a reason for that. I can't do all at the same time. So, and I knew they would want me to help them. So I was like, we're gonna do ours later and you can watch a movie. So they are watching a movie and they're having the time of their life. I'm sure they would say hi if they knew I was up here doing this, but they haven't come upstairs, so they don't even know. Hopefully I'll be done before they get here. So notice this one has more water down here, and then this is where it dried out. Okay, so you see the difference. With the more water, it looks more abstract, but you also can recognize that, hey, this one's darker. So if you want it darker, you can always go back in and add more color, add more, maybe something to the center. Maybe you want more definition. Anytime you want to change up like the shadowing or whatever, like I could take this yellow and put just a little bit of brown and make a center here with some yellow, some brown. I mean, you honestly, guys, you can do whatever you want. Just feel free to be creative. And if you hate it, you can turn it over and do it tomorrow after it dries. You probably would have a hard time doing it today. All right, so now let's start with the grass. Everybody's probably ready. Now, if you didn't realize it, you can take a look outside. Most of your grass is not green. No offense, John. You are amazing, and I'm so proud of how you're taking care of our yard, but ours is still not green. It's like brown green. So we do not want to do grass that is green because nobody has pure green grass unless they have AstroTurf. So we're not going to do that. We are going to make our grass look like real grass. So notice I'm putting it up in my palette again because I'm about to mix my color. So you can put it on your plate if you have a plate. I'm going to take a bunch of green, And what do you think we need to add to make it look like it's dying? That's right, brown. Brown will make it look dead. So I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of brown into this, maybe a little more, just to make it look like it's not fake grass. All right, so now at this point, if it has gotten dry, feel free to wet it again. Sorry about that. Okay, for the grass, everybody ready? If you're a child, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna start at the bottom of your paper. You're gonna start at the bottom, and you're gonna go up. So you can go up, start at the bottom, go up, start at the bottom, go up, just like that. You can get more paint in, up, up, up. Bottom, go up, up, up. And you can go as high up as you want to go. You can cover some of those bottom flowers. You can go left and then go right and then go all around. So now at this point, we're just covering this up. And the other thing that we're going to do with this green paint is leaves, right? So notice we have all these flowers, but we forgot some leaves. So you can always, I might have to get a little more water in mine, but you can always just put random green spots all around just to represent that you have leaves on these plants. Cool? So that can fill in your extra spaces. And honestly, mine doesn't look amazing, but once you put the pen on it, it looks fine. It looks great. So, all right. So remember how to do the grass. Bottom, go up, and you always want to curve it a little bit, because think about it. Does grass actually go straight up and down? No. It kind of falls if the blade is heavy. It moves in the wind. So you want to do all sorts of movements. You don't want to go just straight up the whole time. You want to kind of like go up and then curve, and up and then curve, and then sometimes go curve to the right, curve to the left, curve to the right, curve to the left, do a short one, do some tall ones, and etc., etc. Okay, so that's how you do your grass. Hey, little buddy. Do you remember your painting? Do you remember painting? Joel's coming up here to see what I'm doing. He's finally realized that I'm not down there with him. Okay, so that is green. What is green? It's your what? What's green? Yeah. What's your favorite color? Green. Okay. He doesn't remember. All right. I had to mix a little bit more, but I kind of like for the bottom to be a little bit more filled in, but it doesn't matter. So when I mixed it this time, that's your favorite color. What's your favorite color? Green. That's right. I'm so proud of you. Do you like the painting? What is it? Is it flowers? Yeah, it is. You want to paint again? Okay, we'll paint as soon as Mommy's done. Sound good? All right, and then I mixed my green. The second time when I mixed more, I mixed it slightly different, a little bit less brown, and a little more green to do the upper, the top layer. So I'm basically done. If I were to be really picky, which I know some of you probably are picky, and you want to make it better, then make it better. You're like, oh, I wish this was darker. I wish it filled in more of the white spaces. Then fill in the white spaces. What, sweetie? I love you. Okay, I think Daddy made you chocolate chip cookies. Would you like a cookie? Oh, boy. All right, so notice I'm just tweaking. So I'm really only tweaking just because I know some of you are still working, and that's totally fine. But yeah, you can pretty much be done. You can do whatever you like. So mine is still wet enough that I would have a really hard time doing the pen work on it. So you guys are probably the same way. And so we have a couple different options. I can simply show you, I can put in the comments examples. You can text these examples here. I have a couple others, and I can put those in the comments for you guys to look at how I did pen. But really the pen work has to do with what is your shape. So look at this one. I decided I'm just going to do random squigglies and then a random squiggly in the middle. Here, I'll put it in the middle. This one I decided I'm going to make it a rose. So I did a U, I did this little swirly, and then I put these two, I don't know what you would call that. This one ended up being squiggly. This ended up being that one flower I was telling you about that it's like a corn on the cob type thing. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, this one I made really little squigglies. This one I made more like square petals. This one I made like V's. I don't even know. Sorry, all our kids are yelling in the background because they're getting cookies. Sorry for those of you who don't have cookies at home. Shout out to the Bolsons who shared their amazing cookie recipe with us. Now we make them too often. This one, I literally just was like, whatever I felt like doing, I did. Oh, I put it too high, sorry. Whatever I felt like doing. This looks like grapes, just did a bunch of random. This one, I think I made it look like a daisy or something, like just really simple. This one, let's see, other just kind of crazy little. Further away from me. Like this is better? And just point it here? Oh, thank you, John. Sorry. So I just, honestly, you could do any of this. These are supposed to be like mini tulips. I have no idea. Tulips are not that small, so I don't know what they are. I just made random shapes. I'm honest. I literally just made random shapes. Besides the rose, that's a clear like swirl. But other than that, I was like, we're just squiggling and just outlining our stuff. So you'll notice that we put one of these pens in your bag. So if you don't have one of these pens, now you do, and you can write with these. I thought about giving you Sharpies, which Judah used a Sharpie. That's what his is. But you don't need a Sharpie. You can literally use a simple pen. So the last thing that I did after I outlined my flowers, that's your favorite color. The last thing that I did was to make the grass. So yeah, and you don't outline it all. You just put, just like what we were doing before, like and up and up and up and up. Now, yes, that's your favorite color. And mine's not working well because it's wet, but I'm just explaining it. I don't want to draw on my kids because they did a great job. Judah decided he wanted to do the outlines, but Joy and Joel and Josie have not yet. So I can ask them later if they want to. But yeah, you basically just look at your shapes and then just kind of abstractly draw around them. And that's it. I wouldn't necessarily draw around any of the leaves. And I didn't say this before, but I actually didn't draw around every flower. And I think it looks better. But if you want to outline every flower, you can. I only outlined some of them. Notice I didn't outline this yellow one or this yellow one. I didn't outline these purple ones up here. So totally up to you. But that is basically it. That's it. And then you all should have received frames. So when they get dry, you can pick your favorite part of the picture. It's a little bit bigger than the frame just because it always looks better if you go all the way to the edge. And so this kind of helps make sure. So I cut the paper a little bigger than the frame. I did that on purpose if you didn't know. So anyway, part of your picture will be behind the frame, but that is okay. So that's it for tonight. I hope you guys had fun. I'm going to read through the answers for those quiz questions while you guys are finishing up, okay? So here are the answers. Mother's Day is the second Sunday in May. The second Sunday in May. So it's always in May. It's the second Sunday in May. Most of you got that. Ann Jarvis was credited with starting Mother's Day. They said she called it Mother's Friendship Day. Her goal was to reunite families that had been split because of the Civil War. This was in 1868, and she wanted to make it an annual memorial for Mother's Day, but she died before that happened. But anyway, super cool. That's what it started, was to get families together. 3 most popular mom gifts: cards, flowers, and jewelry. I was surprised. Most of you said chocolate. I thought chocolate as well. But they said cards, flowers, and jewelry. I don't know who these people are. I don't have money to buy jewelry for everyone. But anyway, people do. There you go. Okay, the most common Mother's Day flower is a carnation. Carnation. What percentage of flower purchases for the year are made on Mother's Day? It is 25%. But if you got close, I'll count it. All right, how many countries celebrate Mother's Day? About 50 countries celebrate Mother's Day. Sorry. And the last question, how many phone calls do they estimate that are made to their mothers is 122.5 million. So if you said something around 100 million, you are correct. Anyway, we hope that you guys had a really fun night. Our desire was to not just give a gift, but to try to hit all the love languages. So some people, their love language is gifts, and that's amazing. And we obviously gave most of the mothers in our church should have received a gift in that bag. But we thought, what about those mothers who don't care about gifts, but they just want to spend time with their kids? Well, that's what this idea was for, was to create a time for you and your family to hang out and just do something fun. So anyway, the last thing. Oh, yeah. So service tomorrow is going to be amazing. We did a switch up at the last minute. John is actually speaking. It is awesome. Like, the message that he has prepared is so great. We're so excited for all of you. Even if you're not mothers, he did a great job of just making sure that it's something that applies to all of us. So 9:45, we will start our usual live chat where we hang out with you guys and we give away gift cards and all sorts of fun things like that. And then at 10 o'clock, our service right here on Facebook, right here on YouTube Live, right here on our website. Yeah, you guys are awesome. God bless you. All you mamas, happy Mother's Day. I pray the bedtime process tonight goes smooth as possible. Right, buddy? All right. Well, goodbye from our family to yours. Can you say happy? Look at that chocolate. Say happy Mother's Day. Or not. I'll say it. Happy Mother's Day. Bye, guys. You are so chocolatey. You're so cute.